You DM'd us and you said, I am the one who has no money.
Well, it's BBNo money.
Tell us, how do you have no money?
I am the purest form, cheapest human being ever. I can turn around and be like, here's $40,000 for a music video, let's go blow it. Go make art. I don't think I spent $40,000 on myself in the past 4 years.
So what do the finances look like today? Like getting 10 million streams on Spotify.
The revenue that I was making from streaming royalties and online like plays.
What? Yeah.
So Garfield took one of my songs and used it as their trailer. And I was like out in Japan, like when I checked my phone, it was like, boom, $300,000. Just like that.
Are
Just
you
like that.
kidding me?
Garfield, I'm aiming to do this like 33 stop tour in Europe, and it will net me negative $127,000.
So why do it?
You give your fans an experience, and they're fans forever.
You DM'd us and you said, I am the one who has no money.
Yeah. Well, it's BBNo money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you're the baby that has no money.
Yeah.
Tell us, how do you have no money?
So basically, I grew up in a family that my dad's an immigrant parent, and the financial concept of what we grew up in and like the complex is like you put a house over your head and you feed your family. That's it. It's money is there to like be a protective measure. And I think it just really distilled into me. I don't know. I remember in high school, when all my friends would go out, they'd be like, hey, we're going to bring some money and like go like party and then eat at McDonald's. I would bring nuts because I knew that they were high in fats, so I wouldn't have to have as bad of a hangover. I wouldn't drink Chase because it was too expensive. Like I am the purest form, cheapest human being ever. Like I bought like a $200 pair of jeans and all my friends were like, dude, what the is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. I still fought econ. Like I just can't spend money. I have like a weird psychological like affix or suffix. I don't even know of like just the inability to spend money.
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah,
I know it doesn't seem like that, but everything I buy is designed around making money. Everything. So if I can't make money from it or get it at a good enough deal, like I was talking to Jack about there's a car. I don't really want the car, but I'm like, hey, if I get this car at this price, I can't say no to it. Then I have to do it because it's worth so much more and I'm not going to lose money. I see every purchase like that. Everything.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know if sometimes I'm like, I should just fly first class because it's literally going to kill my body and time is the most valuable asset. So, you got to weigh out the options. But it's like, sometimes I just don't know why I have this block. And I see my brother, for instance, and he lives in Copenhagen, and I feel like perspective, like a living perspective in Europe is like you work to live, whereas in America, you live to work. And he's always pressed me on it. He's like, dude, go buy me beers. You got to go buy me beers. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I feel weird doing that. If I'm not getting something out of it, like it should be 50-50 or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I've been like talking to my therapist about this shit too. And it's been like an interesting dynamic that I've had to find with like every single person that I like work with. Like, I hired basically a bunch of my friends because why not just hire your friends and be closer with people that you love? And it's like weird because then you have like this power dynamic with financials. And then it's like, I'm just like, I usually just call my friends. I'm like, all right, how much money do you want? Just tell me and I'll just give it to you. I don't really care. But it's weird because when it comes to a financial perspective with my job, I can turn around and be like, here's $40,000 for a music video. Let's go blow it. Like go make art. And then $40,000, I don't think I spent $40,000 on myself in the past 4 years. Like I don't know what it is.
Is there anything that you've started to splurge on? Because I think it's pretty safe to say that you have money now. I mean, with 10 million Spotify monthly listeners, I don't know what you're doing on Apple or YouTube or all of that stuff. You have to have money now. Is there anything that you're finally allowing yourself to splurge on?
Nice food. That's it.
So like what is nice food to you?
Oh, like I'll go for like triple Michelin, double Michelin.
Oh, that's actually
really
nice. Okay, Graham's
really,
not there yet.
Really nice food.
Wow.
There's something that like sharing like really, really nice sushi with people when you know all the experience is the exact same flavor profiling in your mouth all at once. There's something to it. I don't know what it is. And it's like sitting down with like 80 of your friends and being like, all right, we just spent like $500, $600 a person.
Holy crap.
And we're just like looking at like this small little cracker on a plate and you get like 30 or 40 different plates, and you're just like, whoa.
I get zero enjoyment from that.
Really?
Very
Because he
little.
gets anxious about the price.
Yeah.
Like, he can't enjoy himself if he knows he's spending a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that.
Yeah.
I definitely get that. But food, I don't know. It broke through. I don't know. Maybe I've done too many hallucinations.
We gotta take you down a notch and show you
We
like
gotta go
all
back
you
to
could
Nando's.
eat.
All you can eat
Chipotle.
sushi here in Vegas.
$30. All you could eat sushi. Or there's a poke spot that's really, really, really good for like $17. That to
Okay.
me is like better than the really expensive meals that I've eaten.
It's not like don't get me wrong. If there's like a $1 taco, call me crazy. Like it's probably going to be better than like a $50, $60 burger or someplace or somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like I totally think that there's that. But I don't know. For some weird reason, like just going out with a bunch of friends and really splurging on some like a meal is like I earned this, and that's the feeling I get at least. But I will totally appreciate. Like I still love McDonald's. Like you know when you go to McDonald's, you get a McGangbang. I don't know if you
Yes,
Dude,
dude.
McGangbang.
Chicken and McDouble.
Yeah, dude.
Put them together.
So bussin'.
Yeah.
And I grew up on that. So it's like when I go back and I'm like, oh, you know what, guys? Let's feel terrible for the rest of the day. And you put them in gangbang together and you're just like, wow, this is disgusting. We should go get one.
I'd be down. But you were mentioning too that was surprising that like technically you're kind of homeless. Like you don't have a place anymore.
Yeah,
You've
I'm like a nomad. It kind of sucks. I don't know. I don't really have like another perspective. Like basically I live with my parents in Vancouver if I were to be home. One, it's because whenever I was home anyway, I owned this apartment downtown Vancouver, and I was just like, I could stay here, or I could just be with my parents for like 4 days, the only time that I'm in Vancouver. So I just decided to sell it because I was like, there's no point of owning this, and sold it. I made $25,000 on it after
Nice.
years, after like this is after everything, like paying for a new roof, like all
Fees and
like the
whatnot.
fees and everything. So I ended up making some money on it, which was sick.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, before I was 30, I already sold the apartment. That's great. Great accomplishment. So basically I live with my parents and I rent kind of in LA, but I don't really like stay anywhere. It kind of sucks. I don't really know what else to say other than it's just uncomfortable sometimes because I'm like, I would love to have the longest I've ever stayed in a place in the past 4 years was like 2 months. So I don't really have any like regularity or like a schedule for
So it's like
instance.
hotels all the time?
Hotels, Airbnbs, like other people's couches. Just like just living. It's weird, but it's also like everyone's always like, how do you only travel with like a carry-on? I'm like, well, I spend a lot of time in airports. I don't want to spend an hour like waiting for a bag or potentially being way longer than an hour. So it's like, time is money, right? So
what do the finances look like today? Like getting 10 million streams on Spotify. Like could you break us down? Like we know nothing about in this sort of industry.
We can also guess.
okay, guess.
Like how much 10 million monthly listeners, so your Spotify check only. I'm going to say, what do you think, Graham? I'm going to say per month with 10 million monthly listeners, $175,000 a month.
No, dude, I'm gonna guess like $500 a month from Spotify.
What?
Right? Yeah.
Okay. So
10 million streams.
there's so many
No, 10 million monthly listeners.
So monthly
I'm just
listeners, it's interesting because it's a very deceiving statistic or analytic because it actually doesn't matter. Like it literally doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Because it's like, for instance, The Weeknd, biggest artist in the world off streaming revenue, off this, off that. He's the most streamed artist. So a monthly listener is someone who comes back and listens to a song twice within a month.
Oh.
So
I
basically,
had no idea.
So basically what that means is you can have a lot of monthly listeners, but not a bunch of daily streams. Whereas like this collective or these two dudes called Boys, they have about, I think 14, 15 million monthly listeners, but they have like 10 million streams a day. I have 10 million monthly listeners and about 1.8 to 2 million streams a day. So it really only matters with the amount of actual consumption rather than the fan listening more than. So their fans are listening like 5 times, 6 times, whereas my fans are listening like once.
And how can you figure out that statistic? Or is that only like in the dashboard?
It's in the dashboard.
Okay.
So basically like every million streams is about $3,800. So if I was streaming about 40, I think I stream about 48 to 49 million streams a month on average. So it's like about 50. So 100, it would be about 150,000. But I don't I don't own all the royalties. Some songs that are doing really well, for instance, one of my biggest songs ever, Lalala, I sold that song when it was like taking off, and I only own 25% of it from a label. Also, labels, there's so many smoke and screens, like there's so many extra hidden fees, like it's some for sure. Like every distribution is like they're scraping, and every single company will do this. Typically, I would say on an average song, I end up having about, on average, like 60% from my whole catalog of the royalties on the master side. So I would be making about like $2,700 out of these $3,800 per million. So I make about like 5 to 6K kind of flat a day, approximately.
Now, all of this reminds me that the future of business is really uncertain because if you ask 9 different experts, you're going to get 10 different answers from a bull market to bear market. Stocks go up, they go down. It's really confusing, and it would be very helpful to have a crystal ball.
But until that happens, over 40,000 businesses have already future-proofed their business with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one fluid platform. Plus, with just one unified business management suite, there is just one source of truth giving you all of the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. And with real-time insights and forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data.
When you're able to close the books in days and not weeks, you're spending less time looking backwards and more time looking for what's next. So whether you're earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. And speaking of opportunity, right now you could download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/iced. Again, netsuite.com/iced with the link down below in the description. netsuite.com/iced. Thank you so much, NetSuite, for sponsoring this episode. And now back to the podcast.
I make about like 5 to 6K kind of flat a day, approximately.
All right, you're closer. I'm way off.
$500 a month? That is an abysmal guess. That is
I
yeah,
had it on my-
$500. I was like, damn,
yeah, that's
you're
crazy.
way off,
No,
bro.
He has a little bit of money, like, clearly.
I had it in my notes here. 1 million streams is $33.
That's crazy. Well, a million streams
But I
on
could be, like, way
YouTube
off.
on like
Yeah.
on like streaming of a song
Maybe that's
is
it.
way lower. The CPM
Okay.
on YouTube is like kaput. It's garbage.
Interesting.
And it really also depends on where it's being streamed. So for instance, like India, a Spotify subscription is
True.
it's like 30 cents in India. So every stream from India would be way less worth. Whereas like in America, it's like $15 a month or something. I don't know. I don't even listen to music really. I don't even have a Spotify account. Sorry, Spotify.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't. I like legit have yet to use it.
How do you listen to music?
I don't really listen to music.
What do you listen to?
I actually don't really listen to music, just full stop.
What about like a podcast or like?
I just kind of like chilling because my life is always music.
Yeah.
It's always thinking about like whenever I listen to songs, I like it's kind of like finance. It's like when someone talks about finance, it's like that's on your mind. And when I hear songs, I'm like, why is this song big? I need to like analyze the song. Whereas like I can't even listen to it anymore. Obviously, some songs I'll come on. I'm like, whoa, this is really good. This is super catchy. I like this. This like the synthetic sound here is really nice. Like it's so well mixed. But I don't really like consume it as I used to. And I think that's just like a product of my environment.
So it's like a job, kind of when you're listening to music.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also it also distills feeling for sure. But it's definitely less than it used to. Where was I? So going back to the money thing. So on YouTube, 1 million typically equates to about $700. So let's say you do 1 million on every single platform. You're gonna be looking at like, what's 1 million on like all the other ancillaries? Probably another like $2,000. So you have like 3,800, 2,800. And then if you do 1 million on all of these streaming platforms, so like let's say you have like 5 million total streams, on the publishing side, this is where it gets really complicated. Publishing has mechanical royalties, and mechanical royalties, what that is like, it's a royalty that I'm also not the most educated on this. Like, people literally have their whole lives collecting mechanical royalties for like publishing companies. It's ridiculous. But basically it's like on these streaming platforms, they have these performance royalties that go out to all these publishing companies of like, songwriters. So if there is 3 people in the room and we write this song, it's called Nashville. Basically what it is you split it 3 ways. So we compose the song together. So 33, 33, and I will just typically take 34 because it's just easier to split it up that way, obviously. So that 800 would be split 33, 33, 33. And that's just the mechanical. And then you have like sync royalties. You have like if someone uses it in the movie, you have like extra royalties coming in. There is like so many unspoken nuances and like small little revenue generators in music that is like it would blow your mind.
It just depends on where it's played. Played in a TV show pays this. Played in a movie it pays this. And they all have different splits.
So Garfield took one of my songs and used it as their trailer. And I was like out in Japan, like sitting in a beautiful forest. I was like, man, I love Japan. And I checked my phone. I was like, boom, $300,000. Just like that. Just
Are you
like that.
kidding me?
And I was like, Garfield, I f with you.
Did you know that was coming?
No. So it's just like basically they reach out and they're like, we want to pay for this. But the thing is, I own 21% of that song on both sides. So 21% of 300,000 is, what is that, like 67,000?
Mm-hmm.
So $67,000, but I didn't do really anything. I just made the song. And luckily the song became a hit. But you see how like all these extra streams and revenue just keep on coming in. Too Hot to Handle has used my songs all the time. And like Love is Blind used my songs. And then they pay royalties, they pay out like a licensing fee. So you get like $5,000 just like that randomly. Boom.
And you have agents that just negotiate this completely detached from you.
Yeah.
You don't even know they're doing that.
Yeah.
And then just randomly on a day, you'll
It's
just
just
get like a check
typically
from...
Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm like, come on, like a draw. And then I'll just get an email or like a text from like my publisher, like A&R guy, and he's like, hey, we got a big one. And I'm like, movie, let's go out for dinner, boys. And that's kind of it. It's sick. And that's just like that's like one small little avenue. And it's interesting and really, really cool too, because people make careers just out of that, where they're like, I'm a sync writer. So I will make songs. There will be like a sync pitch and be like, hey, we have like an action movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and we need bing, bang, boom, boom type music. So people will be like, a composer will be like, all right, let's try it. So who goes in the studio and makes like a song that sounds like what they want. And then you might get it and you might not. And they'll do a full buyout of like $100,000. And like people have full lives like that. And it's like such a small little factor of what music is. And it's like you can compose this, compose that for ads. And it's actually really cool. Once you like see how the backside of the music industry is, it's like really, really enjoyable. There's so many avenues that you can create revenue from.
So why does it seem like a lot of musicians say it's a horrible industry to be in? And it seems like just like the top 0.1% is reaping like almost all the revenue.
Well, I mean, okay, so on a touring perspective, it's a nightmare. So the AAA artists, they clean up. Like that's, like Beyonce's out here doing like $100 million in a touring revenue. Like Olivia Rodrigo was the highest grossing artist of our decade. Of like,
more than Taylor Swift?
Well, a new artist.
Oh, okay.
Like a new generation artist. It was $190 million on her last tour. And basically, I was just telling you about this Subtronics guy. Basically, like if you don't get to 5,000 capacity shows, which I'm going to be honest, I've been grinding my ass off for the 9 years. It's hard. Like you need a ton of hits, like a string of hits, or like crazy controversy, like crazy this, crazy that, and you just got to be on the ball 24/7 and like really cultivate that fan base. If you don't do that and you tour at like a 2,000 to 3,000 capacity like tour, and you want to bring production and try to make it a cool experience for your fans, you are always in the red. I'm aiming to do this like 33 stop tour in Europe, and it will net me negative $127,000.
So why do it?
Because you give your fans an experience and they're fans forever. And that's it. And like the only reason why I'm able to do this anyway is because of them. It's really just a pat on the back. And like sometimes I'm like volunteering, it's exhausting, and you're like,
Volunteering.
Huh. And I've done it for so long. Like this year, like I'm on track. I just listed a tour recently, like a week ago, and we sold out Toronto, probably the fastest I've ever sold out a show ever. And I felt like, I was like, whoa, things are on the up. This is great. And I'm on track to make like probably $40,000, $50,000 on a tour that's going to gross like $1 million, but there's just so many expenses. So it's just like a really, really interesting dynamic when you see the back end, you're like,
Yeah, my understanding is that they'll pay you like a big amount for one night, but then it's up to you to then pay out like lighting and security
Yeah.
and like, all the miscellaneous stuff with that.
So there's something called a guarantee. Typically, that's like how most people take it. You can do like $1 deals at the door where it's like you basically rent the venue and you just take all the risk. Whereas a guarantee is like, I guarantee you $25,000 in your pocket, and then you budget the tour off of that. So you can have like a bus, so it's a little healthier for you. You can go to bed, and then you bring lighting, lasers. You try to make an experience, or as cool as an experience as possible. My main goal is to try to make like a musical out of my music for the next tour. So my fans are just gonna be like, holy shit, you really tried. Because the bar is really low in rap music, to be real. But I don't know, like sometimes I get frustrated because I'm like, I don't really want to tour and not make any money anymore. Like I've been doing it for like 8 years basically. So I'm just, kind of tired of that. But at the same time, it's also like, who the fuck gets these experiences? And it's like, it really is, as cliche and corny as it may sound, when I'm on stage and I see that many people just smiling and like giggling, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like I can actually distill happiness in people. And I have the ability to, I always wanted to be a doctor. I went to school for kinesiology before I did music, and I just wanted to help people. And the ability that I have to reach people and like actually emotionally touch them in a way where my music is, I can say pee pee poo poo on stage and people are like, yeah. And, I think they just get me in a deeper level, and they just want to be there to have fun and, have an experience and kind of like forget what is now for them and be in the moment. Dude, is a blessing. So if I have the ability to do that, lose some money at the same time, but like harness and be able to like nurture my fan base, like that's the main goal here. So
I think that's super, super nice of you, and also like aware of you to be able to take the hit, to be able to provide for the people that provide for you.
yeah, totally.
And on top of that, I just got to say, like, I wasn't expecting you to be so upfront about all the numbers and everything. And to be honest, like, as YouTubers, we're very familiar with like how much YouTubers make or how much streamers make or that whole sphere.
Yeah.
But we have no idea how much like musicians make, because it's not talked about. And so I appreciate your transparency when it comes to like musicians' numbers, because a lot of people, I'm sure like basically all the viewers right now have no idea, are completely surprised you could get a check just for, from Garfield like that on a random Monday morning.
Well,
That's
I
awesome.
mean, like, so Edamame was one of my songs.
I like that song.
Yeah, that song has balls hanging low. Yeah.
Really good.
So that song was like the number 3 or 4th biggest sync song, like in 2022, 2023. So that means basically I was like waking up every other week with like a sync. It wasn't as
what's a sync?
So a synchronization. So basically it's like Garfield is like, oh, we need a trailer audio. Boom, sync Edamame, bing, bing. And he's just like driving or something. I don't know if it's like, if it makes sense, he'll sync the sound team on Garfield or Pixar, wherever it is, will be like, this is the budget we have, and hit up Sony ATV, like Sony, my publishing company, and be like, we want this song in this trailer. That's it. So I would just wake up some days with people using my music, or like one time we got a sync with CarMax for one of my songs called Bad to the Bone, and it was just like a llama just like head out the window just looking at the camera, and it was like, yeah, I'm bad to the bone basically, and they just used that portion of the song. And I was like, all right, cool. And CarMax paid me, and Taco Bell's paid me, like Mountain Dew's paid me. It's like kind of sick. Yeah, it's really dope.
Do you ever find it intimidating that like you have to keep topping yourself? Like you have a good song and now it's like, how can I make something better than what I just made?
So I was really struggling with that in the beginning of COVID. I had Lalala, and that song was stratospheric. Obviously did not expect that song to get that big. That was like right in the beginning of TikTok, and it's almost at 1 billion streams now. And just one of those experiences where I was like, oh, this really happened. Like I remember I was sitting in my bedroom I just like started crying. I was like, dude, my phone is blowing the up right now. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is real. And my mom like walks in with some apples and is like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. This is right after I graduated university. Like, I crossed the stage, went to the hotel. My sister was like, yo, why are you not coming to lunch with us? Like, you just graduated. Like, celebrate with the family. And I was like, no, I got to drop the song. It's going to change my life. And then like 2 days later, it exploded.
How did you know that song is going to be so big? Is it feeling?
Yeah, I don't know. I played it live for a couple times and like people could recite the hook like immediately. It just banged like everything. Like the mix sounded perfect. I don't know. I remember also I hooked up with a girl the same night I made it and I showed it to her. I was like, yo, I made this hit. It's a hit. Like I made a hit. Like I did it. And she's like, it's cool. And I was like, whatever. And then she called me like after it blew up. She was like, you told me this song was a hit. How did you know? I was like, I don't know. Like I actually have no idea. I just told everyone and it just spoke into existence. And it just happened.
How much do you think that song grossed? Just in everything? Because I imagine, like you said, every other week you were getting syncs. And on top of that, the billion downloads that it's done.
Do you get a plaque or anything for a billion?
I think Spotify will actually send me a billion plaque.
That's
Because
cool.
I think there's only like 1,200 songs at a billion or something like that. I don't know. Maybe not even that many. So Edamame was the one that synced. Weirdly, Lalala was way bigger of a song, like culturally, than Edamame was, but it didn't sync at all. It's because I feel like the Edamame, the song is so driving, and it's like when you want to buy something, you just want to be like sucked in. And Edamame, I feel, has that punchiness, like really like upbeat, fun happiness, whereas like La 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 is just like more of like a weird meshed pop song that no one really has heard before. So La La La, I don't know how much that song is fully made, to be honest. So when you sign it to a record label, you never really know how much they spend on it. I'm honestly like, I think I'm gonna audit Columbia because
Walk us through that, like when you sign a record deal, because you hear so many people saying they got ripped off by their record company. Even Limp Bizkit, I think, is suing whoever their publisher or record company was, because they said like they made no money from certain songs or like from certain albums.
I'm still independent, so I own all of my masters. So basically, whenever I'm like wife and kids checking out, I'm gonna be like, all right, guys, I'm out. I'll sell my whole catalog for millions of dollars. Ideally, I'm like a Bruce Springsteen in a couple of years. You know the vibes. He just sold his catalog for like $250 million.
Everyone's doing
How
that.
much did Michael Jackson?
Bieber sold his.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
ridiculous.
yeah.
It's f***ed up.
Like
It's
hundreds of millions.
hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
Did Jackson sell his?
I think
It was- it
Michael
would've been
Jackson.
his-
I think the
would've been his-
Beatles bought Michael Jackson. Or no, Michael Jackson bought the Beatles.
Yes.
I think.
That's
Yeah.
They're
One
all
bought
like
one
crazy.
bought the other, and they were really upset about that deal.
Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna put a list of some people that have sold their catalog. The numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah,
They're
it's
insane.
ridiculous. But I mean, it's evergreen. I think the consumption just keeps on going up. I mean, obviously, like the OG hits, like will always be hits. You know.
That would be
Like-
cool to be able to buy a song like that. That would be the ultimate flex. To be
I'll show you guys a
I
song.
own that
Really?
song.
Sure. I mean, I have a bunch of songs that don't make any money because they're just. But my musical career started basically from just like gamers using my music on YouTube. So I never clicked the content ID like copyright thing because I was like, I want people to use my music. Like I want to encourage people to use my music, and that was like kind of like a grounding point for the basis of building my career. And yeah, I still to this day, I just went to TwitchCon recently and had a really good time there, and I met so many people that I've never fully met before that have used my music in their like intros or outros of their gaming videos and be like, bro, I love you. And I'm like, I love you, man. Like, thank you.
It's so appreciated, because I'll tell from my perspective that there have been times where I've used a little clip of just like 10 seconds, like a little background clip. They claim the whole video.
Yeah, it's so
And I have to go
stupid.
back through and like edit that out, and it kind of ruins it a
Mhm.
little bit.
No, totally.
Or videos where I've included
Mhm.
like a reaction to something in context, and they claim the whole video.
Yeah. Well, so I don't own all of my music.
Yeah.
La La La, I still have a 5-year license with Columbia. A lot of my music with my friend Young Gravy is all on Republic. So I don't really have full jurisdiction over what happens there, and I can't really get those claimed because I ended up selling the rights to those songs. But at the same time, like all the music that I have on my Spotify that is not capitalized, so it's like all lowercase, that is my music.
So how does a record deal work?
The misconception is record labels are bad. I don't think they're bad. They just can't work that doesn't have a flame. It's like if you have a financial advisor and he's like, hey, so we're gonna need some money to like make some money. And he's like, and the people are like, nah, go make me money with no money. How does that work? It doesn't work. So if you're working an artist that just isn't working and you just up and signed the wrong guy because you thought he could have been the next pop star, then you're gonna get dropped, and then the artist is probably gonna get super pressed because we're like, I signed this deal and nobody's helped me out. Like, fuck, brother. I don't know why I brought the UK accent out there, but you see what I mean? They're basically just a bank. But when a song is ripping and they just want to roll their keyboard down with $600,000 to market a song, I'm all hands off. I don't care. Because when Lalala blew up really hard, it was doing like 4.8 million streams a day. So that was making like $20,000 a day, just default. I don't know what the they did. When I sold it to them, it was doing 1 million streams a day, but I don't know what the they did. They spent $650,000. It literally just says marketing expense, $650,000. And I'm like, whatever. It helped my career so much that like I will take the deficit of making money there for a very long time because I can make money in other avenues. So I used to view music as, which made me way more anti-label. I used to view my music as the only revenue generating principle because in university, I was releasing songs. I was like making $4 a day, $8 a day, $16 a day. And I was like, oh, this is like where I'm going to make all my money. So the revenue that I was making from streaming royalties and online like plays was the only money that I was making. And that was like basically the only money I made for a very long time because as I was saying, like touring, you don't really make money. Until like the past year and a half, I've been profiting on touring. Not nearly as much as some other people may, but it's kind of like leveling out to 50-50 now. So basically now I use my music as an avenue and a tool and a marketing tool to get people to my shows and to get people to care more about my business, basically. The issue I had with record labels is I was so afraid of giving up 85 to 90% of all the royalties that I was making in the offshoot chance that they know actually what to do and how to market your songs. But because the music industry is becoming so democratic because social media and labels are basically being like
feet held to the fire a little bit.
Yeah, and like labels are like cleaning up their whole roster, like just firing everyone because they don't have the power anymore. It's not monopolized. Like you can't tell the world that this new song coming out on TikTok is going to be the next big hit. It just doesn't work. Like you need people. The people make the decision, and the people make all of the right decisions when it comes to the songs. And like when you hear songs and it's like a small little snippet and the rest of the song sucks or the rest of the song rocks, it's cool because it's like that's what the people want. That's what the people want. And it's not monopolized anymore. And it's actually, it is beautiful, but it also makes it really fucking annoying for an independent artist because you're like, okay, do I want to try to market the song or do I just want to put it out and see if anything happens and wait? And if it doesn't, move on to the next one? I don't know.
That's interesting. I wonder then how many artists are trying to curate their music to be just that song that's used for like a 10-second clip. I heard you mention in another podcast the song $1 Million Baby and how that song, I mean, you couldn't go like 3 reels on Instagram without hearing it. Mm-hmm. And that probably completely changed this guy's life. Insane, like monthly listeners. Like my favorite artist, Rex Orange County, never, and he's been making music for such a long time.
He's fire.
Has not hit that amount of monthly listeners. And this guy did it with, I mean, I don't want to say one song, but effectively, to my knowledge, it was like one song.
So yeah, that's the thing is monthly listeners is very deceiving because it doesn't actually mean anything. You can have the biggest song in the world, like cranking, like doing like 15 million streams a day, and nobody will come to your show because nobody cares. They just want the song. They don't care about the artist. So that is like that's where like the turning point is, like getting the subconscious of society to be like, oh, I fuck with that person. And it's like, how do you develop a story and how do you develop a personality that people can attach to that draws them and it draws them in enough to come to the show or like buy the merch or you know, like do all the other business perspectives that are not just songs. But like I do totally think that Home Slice is really talented.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be here for a really long time, and I'm happy to have heard his song. I like it a lot.
Although really quick, before we go into that, you might have noticed that the Iced Coffee Hour has grown a ton over the last year. We've surpassed 1 million subscribers. We've had big guests on like Jordan Peterson, Michael Saylor, and Ben Shapiro, and we're even about to surpass 1 billion views. The point is, a lot has changed over the last year, and if you're running an e-commerce business, you could probably relate.
Whether you're looking for better efficiency during the hectic holiday seasons, or your business has just outgrown your old shipping solutions, you need Shipstation to help you scale your business. Shipstation integrates with over 180 popular e-commerce platforms, marketplaces, and carriers, helping you achieve exceptional shipping efficiency. Plus, with features like automated shipping tasks, you can manage orders from one easy dashboard and enjoy discounts of up to 89% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates, saving you money while delivering faster.
Over 130,000 companies have grown their e-commerce business with Shipstation, and 98% of those customers who stick with Shipstation for a year become customers for life. So lead your e-commerce business into a smarter future with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to Shipstation today. Just go to shipstation.com/ICH for a free 60-day trial. Again, that's shipstation.com/ICH with the link down below in the description. Thank you again to Shipstation for sponsoring this episode, and now let's get back to the podcast. Is there an algorithm to game the system for music, or like a formula that you could follow?
I heard, there was a clip that I saw, it was like a DJ that was talking about it, and he said that there's essentially a lever that can be pulled. If you pay enough money, a lever that can be pulled to make a song go viral. But I'm guessing you would say that's not true.
It's not true.
No matter how much money you throw at it.
Like, okay, I mean, if I was a trillionaire,
Okay,
and
yeah.
let's say I was a trillionaire, I had a son. He was like, I want to be a rapper, dad, and I was like, I got you. Then yeah, like I'll throw $1 billion at a fucking song. It's gonna go ape shit. You know what I mean? I'll just pay literally every single YouTuber to use it, and it's gonna go up.
Or even just pay the producers like an obscene amount of money, like the best producers.
Producer, that makes no difference.
Really?
Yeah, because you can make a song. We can make a song right now that could be the biggest song in the world.
We should do it at the end.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe. I just like it won't be the biggest song in the world because I'm not that great fundamentally. Like I'm fine. I just kind of figured out a loophole. I just figured out what people kind of like and what I'm good at, and I just double down on it constantly. And I'm just like, all right, I know exactly the type of music that I would listen to if I were to make it again, and I'll just double down and I'll double down and I'll double down.
What I found really interesting is that a lot of the biggest artists don't even write their own songs. Like they're written by like a Benny Blanco or like someone like that, where they could, you know, maybe collaborate or just buy a song. What was the guy, the Ibiza guy?
Oh, Mike Posner?
Mike Posner.
Oh yeah, classic.
He was talking about making a song for Bieber, and like that was his song, and he shows himself playing it.
Oh, it was Love Yourself. I think it was Love Yourself. He made a song, and then Justin, I think, plucked it.
The super sad.
If I Was Your Boyfriend.
Oh, was it that?
Yeah, it was that song.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so songwriting is also another avenue to become successful. I've been hit up to write songs for people for sure. I just like don't care because I don't like doing things on spec, which is like, hey, if you do this, you might get this. And I'm like, I would rather just make a song for myself. Who cares? Like, yes, I'm not the best songwriter in the world. I've met some songwriters and some artists that I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like, where you're like, I try pretty hard to make music for sure. You know, I'm like racking my brain. And I've seen like Doja Cat make a song or just jokingly make a song. And I'm like, dude, this is more fire than my whole catalog. And she just like sits there and like, wow, 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 wow. And it's like sick. So it's like, there are some people that are just objectively like super, super talented and are hit makers.
Is that something that could be learned, or do you think you're born with the ability to be able to hear songs?
No, it's definitely a muscle.
Okay.
I mean, I would say 5 years ago, every song I made was like a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, let's say modestly or whatever. Now, every song I make is at least an 8 out of 10. And that's because of just like what I know. And it's like your taste keeps on evolving. Whether or not like the song will explode, I think your taste keeps on evolving and you just get better. Because I can take every single aspect of a song, of like one of my big songs, I can take an aspect of it and be like, what made this song popular? Oh, this part. And it wasn't because it blew up on TikTok. It's just like the feeling it gives you during that moment when you listen to it, just grab it, put it on this song. Another song that did well, grab that, put on the same song. And just basically have a full set of songs or a full set of a song of all the good parts of a song, all the good flows, all the good melodies, just put all back on one song. It'll do well.
Do you ever worry that AI is able to do that at some point in the future and like create the best song? And
it kind of frightens me a little bit, but at the same time, like there's so many imperfections in my music that AI won't make. So it makes it less real. I also do think, I wholeheartedly believe that like people will use AI for every other reason other than art. And people will get bored of it. People will get bored if it is just straight up AI art. And there won't be like a revolt, like we need no more AI art. But people will just be like, oh, I'm not that down for this. And I think that's just going to be like the general conscious of the society, people of people being like, you know what? I think I'm done with that. We don't need this. Let's just like actually support a real artist.
But what if they couldn't tell? Because I could
think
see the
people-
movie industry like at one point being like, "Hey, we
The
want a
movie
hit song,"
industry, maybe.
unless there
Well,
wasn't
I mean,
something
you
recognizable.
you can tell the
Yeah.
movie industry right now is like getting hit by ChatGPT scripts. It's pretty bad. Sometimes I watch movies. I walked out of the Joker movie.
I heard it was like
It
miserable.
was abysmal.
Yeah.
And like, look, art direction, great. Don't get me wrong. Acting, incredible. But like, for 2.5 hours, nothing happened. And it was just awkward. I was like, I think they just went too, the home slice went way too avant-garde on it and was like, we need to do something even more different. And it just went way left field and it did not resonate, I don't think. I don't know.
I see a lot of that like with musicians. I feel like a musician, they make a few albums like when they're starting out, then they make 2 albums that just blow up, and then they're like, I'm really artsy, I'm gonna try to come up with something that's like super unique and different. And then it's hard for me to actually enjoy that. Like I've seen that. I feel bad saying these names, but with like Kendrick Lamar, like Good Kid, Mad City was incredible.
Oh, one of the greatest albums ever.
Even I hate saying it because I in fact I met him randomly outside of the restaurant that I used to work at, Tyler the Creator.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah,
I
like
He's dropping a new album.
He what?
He's dropping a
Oh,
new
I know.
album.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right?
Chromacopia,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
actually sounds really good.
It looks
but like
really sick.
Wolf is like, I think a masterpiece.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it's
totally.
it's like a 10 out of 10 album. But I feel like after those blew up, they're like, I need to go a little bit more unique and different and, you know, get all artsy and poetic, which is great. Like I support trying new things, but it always seems like a little bit much. Do you see that?
I mean, I kind of have it with my music. I mean, like, everyone's always like, I want the old BBNo money. Or I want the old this, old Kanye, old this. But you're developing new fans every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I literally went from like a drum and bass record, a drum and bass adjacent house record with like a top line bass that sounds like everything from the UK to a heartbreak song.
Which was fire.
Yeah, and it's good. It's a good song. Like I really like it. It's really like raw and powerful and emotional. But it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. If you can make a song and you can make any type of song a decent song, then do it. Like I totally agree though. Like sometimes as people like try to go way too heady with it. Okay, for instance, so the heartbreak song, there's a lot of aspects in that song that I would say I would basically do in a normal rap song anyway. It's like some of the cadences are just like really upbeat rapping. I get insecure when I leave space on a song. That is something that a lot of producer friends that I work with, they're like, stop rapping so much. The song will do better. And I'm like, nah, it just makes me insecure. But it also sucks because I kind of set myself up for disaster when I'm performing live because breath control is really difficult when I'm like rippity rapping like on stage for an hour and a half and I'm saying like poems and poems and poems and lyrics and bars. So that's something that I like struggle with is like leaving space in a song or like trying to be more artistic in that regard. But something I will do across all my music is just fill the song out with lyrics because I know I like it and I know my fans like me. And if my fans like me, they'll like my songs. And that's it. I'm just putting my personality into my songs and they can resonate with it. rather than just trying to do something completely left field every time, which is cool. It's experimental, but I just don't think it does anything for me because I know I don't like doing that.
I like it when each album is like adjacent to the other album. It's not the same, like you're trying new things and you're experimenting, but it's not completely detached from like the style that cultivated you, that audience.
Yeah, totally. I've been working on figuring out new voices. Like a lot of my songs are pretty like monotone. It's like ballsing and low, pop, off it. And I keep in that tone a lot because I'm probably just insecure about my other voices. But you know, like how Kendrick Lamar on
how he goes like high pitches.
Say, hi, brother. What's good, brother?
He does that.
Top of the morning.
Yeah. He does a lot of that stuff.
And that's the reason, if you look at all the really successful rappers, they all have different voices. Yeet, Eminem, Drake. Drake's fucking, dude, Drake pulls out a UK accent sometimes. And then like a Jamaican accent, bro. It's like.
Interesting.
Kendrick does a lot.
And Kendrick does a ton. And it actually, I didn't realize this until recently, but it really makes a difference having different voices.
Do you have any checks and balances or people that you know that have their fingers like really on the pulse where you show them your music and they're not just like, oh yeah, dude, that's fire, that's gonna go bang? Or do you see any artists that you think have just consistently over time just nailed it every single time? Because I imagine if you're like making music and you're passionate about it and you're like really loving it, like people are just gonna be like, oh yeah, that's fire.
Unfortunately, sometimes I wish I had some more yes men because sometimes I'm like, nah, that shit sucks, man. I'm like, fuck. So I'm set on that. Do I think I make the best music in the world? No. Do I think strike of genius sometimes? I'm like, this song rocks. Yeah, God bless. When I made It Boy, I remember I ordered an Uber and we made this other song and we were working. They just started the beat and I was like, yo, this beat's fire as fuck. And he was like, yo, lay something on it before you get in the Uber. And the Uber was waiting. And when I text the Uber, he's like, hey, I'm here. And then I just literally went up to the microphone. The first thing I said was ITBOY BBNo $sign. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's right. And they just both turned, were like, yo, that's fire. And then they were like, okay, what's the next lyric? And I'm like, I don't know, Gen Z Eminem. And they were like, that is so fucking stupid. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's run it. I'm not even Gen Z. And then we ran it. And then I sent all my friends the song, and one of my like best buddies, my DJ, I sent it to him. He's like, "This is the best hook you've ever written. I promise you, this song will blow up." I'm like, all right. And then I buckled my feet down, finished the song, and it did well. So, and it's easily the most turned up song I have live. This song is I play like an orchestral introduction to it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I'm like, the only reason why you guys are fucking here is to tell your parents that you're fucking goddamn legend. Like, get your fucking dicks up. And like, I just like scream into the microphone and yell at them. And I'm like, get your hands up. And they just lose their mind. It's just everyone's jumping. They're all
that's
like,
cool.
yeah, it's really cool. So when you make a song like that, you can feel it, and it actually invokes a feeling of like, hey, I want to move, or like, hey, this makes me feel sad. That feeling is infectious. I don't know if only musicians can like see it for the first time, but you know when you hear a song, you're like, damn, this is fire. I promise you other people feel the exact same way. And that's probably why a song will be big. It's just infectious. I don't really know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It's
that's
just
why I like Rick Rubin a lot. And I listen to his interviews. It's incredible. He has no musical training whatsoever. Doesn't know music theory, nothing. He just has an ear and he's like, if I like it, I have a feeling other people like it too.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That really is it. It's like, and it's kind of like, people are like, oh, what type of food do you like? And I'm like, good food. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. It's because maybe you don't like good food as I like good food per se, but like I'm not gonna say no to a $17 poke bowl where I know it's gonna be good as fuck.
Yeah. For me with food, by the way, a good analogy is like, you know how your smell influences the taste of the food?
Yeah.
For me, it's money. How much does it cost?
Yeah.
That influences the taste of the food. The cheaper it is, the better it tastes.
The cheaper it is no matter what, or the more,
it's gonna taste good.
The more free it is, the better it is.
If something's $1, it's
when I get
free
delicious. Shit, oh, I love free shit.
What kind of free stuff do you get as a musician?
Kind of like, if I you know RX bars?
Yeah, I love RX bars.
Dude,
so good.
So I have DMs with them of me sending voice notes, be like, hey guys, I'm like a huge fan. Please get back to me. I really want some product and I'll promote you guys. And I promote them and I like literally tell my fans, I'm like, please spam them. I really love an RX bar. Like they cold turkey me. But basically I think the coolest thing that I've gotten for free was a Steam Deck. It's like, it's like
Oh,
a game. It's a
Yeah,
Game Boy
yeah.
basically from the company like Valve and Steam.
Mhm.
And I've been playing that all the time on planes and stuff. It's super, super nice.
We got Jack in the Box for free.
Really?
Yeah.
Jack in the
we
Box
got
is-
Jack in the Box commented on a video because
They're
of Jack. Jack's
yeah.
name is like, oh, it's a Jack in the Box.
Well, I would talk about it. So we
Yeah.
used to have a vlog channel. I would talk about
Yeah,
Jack in the Box
yeah.
all the time. I love Jack in the Box. I think it's underrated.
What's good there?
First of all, everything. Second of all, the tacos are amazing.
Really?
So growing up, like I would definitely, so I had like very little money personally growing up. And so I would go to Jack in the Box. They had 2 tacos for 99 cents. I ran across
That's
country.
fire.
So I build up an appetite. I would go spend $4, get 8 tacos, feel awful afterwards,
Terrible.
but also just love eating them. They're amazing. The meat is questionable. You don't know where it comes from. They definitely fry the entire taco. It's not healthy, but it is like, it's love. Yeah, they sent me a
They sent Jack a-
$500 debit card to
Really?
Jack in the Box. Yeah, and it's called VIP Jack Cash. I go through the drive-through, like hand it over to them, and they're like, I have never seen anything like this ever before.
That is
It's been
sick.
3 years and I still have money on it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow,
fair enough.
That's cool.
Shout out Jack in the Box.
Yeah, shout out Jack in the Box.
So you got the Steam Deck for free. Is there anything else that like huge brands are just like, here, just take it? Like
You would
audio equipment, I would imagine.
No, audio equipment is like it stays and lasts forever. So like they're not going to give you anything
Mhm.
unless I was like AAA. You know what I mean? I don't want to jinx it, but I might be getting a Chipotle Black Card.
No.
Oh,
Okay, I got to show you what I just sent Jack. Holy
I don't want to jinx it. I don't like. Maybe even cut it out. You should literally just bleep.
No.
bleep,
I want
bleep.
this in there because if in the offhand chance, like we talk Chipotle probably every other episode.
Oh my god,
That's it. It's not the black card anymore. It's the wood card.
that's fire.
Yeah.
We talk about Chipotle nearly every other episode. We shout them out. I spend $16 there basically every single day. Chipotle, if you're watching this, I love you.
Chipotle's
I'll always talk-
fire.
I know.
All 3 of us will always talk about
Yeah.
you. Trust me, I hope that people listen to this and go buy Chipotle. I recommend it. It's healthy.
So good.
Send us your cards, please.
Good price.
Yeah, it's
Fair
a great
price.
It's a great
value.
price. It's a great
Yeah.
value. It's a great value spend for
Mhm.
sure.
Walk me through like a day in the life of a musician. Just I know your every day is going to be way different, but let's just talk like an average day. How often are you in the studio per month?
Okay, so I usually do studio work, like making music, in a very sporadic. It's like 2 or 3 months. I'll just be like, fuck it, like let's make a ton of music, and then I kind of just choose all the good music that I've made. Let's say I make 100 songs, and I'll take like 7, and I'll be like, okay, we're gonna market these 7 songs. I really like these 7 songs. I'm gonna shoot music videos. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And just hope for the best with these joints. I used to, in the past, like do tons and tons of music making because that's all I had. Like I was just making music constantly. But now it's like more formulaic. It's kind of like very like structured. Because if I have a tour coming up, I have to like prep music because I want people to show up and want to give them new music to hear and to find enjoyable to when I do the shows. What else? So a typical day, let's say, okay, when I go back November 1st, I'm going to be in LA. My typical day would be I wake up, do a little bit of stretching, go to the gym, come home, figure out what I'm going to do in that day. Of like, do I have a session? If I have a session at 3, which is a music session, I'll make music. Then I'll work with my team of like content strategy for the next week or something like that. And then go make the session, go make the song, hope for the best in the studio. And then come home, rinse and repeat for weeks. And then one off day will be like, hey, we have a show on the 12th. So we're going to fly to Mexico City and hang out there for a couple of days. I'm doing a show in Mexico City. And then I will fly back to LA or go to another place and just make content with people.
And doing those shows in like the one-offs in Mexico City, are those worth it financially? Or would you say that's more so cultivating the audience?
So one-off shows, college shows, festivals, those are worth it. Because they have a ton of production already.
Mhm.
And it's sometimes, I would say 9.6 times out of 10, it's not a bad look. Or 96% of the time, it's not a bad look. Sometimes like the festival will flop or not sell tickets. And then you're just like kind of left shitless. You're like, well, I didn't have the ability to market this But sometimes like people can like post a video if there's like no one at your show and be like, wow, bro, fell off. Wow,
I've
cringe.
seen that with a few like rappers. Like I
Yeah.
swear I saw that with like Lil Baby
So
or something.
Yeah.
tickets right now, ticket sales are the lowest they've been in 35 years.
Why do you think that is?
TikTok brain. People don't care. People want stimulus now. Why would you go to a show where it's like an hour and a half out of your day, an hour transiting probably, where you're like, oh, I have to go like listen to these songs in person? Yeah, there's obviously a lot of people that probably don't see it that way too, but think about the younger generation. And also there's a lot of people who like probably don't even see it because social media is so alienating now. It's too much for people. Like, is it not too much for you guys?
Definitely is. It's not good for my brain. So I'm similar to you. Like I try very hard.
Yeah.
It's a conscious effort to limit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of them cancel shows.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we can't do these shows. We just didn't sell enough tickets.
Yeah, there's
Part
a
of it
lot
could be
of
the cost, though.
Well,
No?
it's like cost, but it's also just people aren't selling tickets. I don't know what it is. Luckily, thank the gods, my American tour, because I was worried I was not going to sell any tickets. I don't know, just everyone around my camp, the people that I know, or just aren't selling tickets. And I was like, oh shit, man. But we like blew out 10,000 tickets in a week, which is sick for me. Like that's way above average. My agent's texting me. He's like, bro, I'm really proud. Like this is sick. We're on the up. Like amazing. He's like, you're really blowing out tickets. Like this is going to be great news for all the promoters and all the buyers of like festivals. So I'm going to be able to do like festival shows and get bags there. But yeah, I mean, things on my side are great. So
Google estimates your net worth at 3 to 5 million. Is that accurate? Where do they get that number from?
Are they just guessing?
I don't know how they make these numbers. It's not accurate, but
Low or is it high?
hey man, we come to the game. We sometimes don't know how to play. But I've never fully understood it of how they would make this assumption. I think if I wasn't independent, I would probably have less than that number. Hypothetically. I don't know. One of my largest decisions that I would say is a mistake is when I had Lalala, I didn't sign my album. That album that I had, I didn't spend a penny marketing it because my algorithm, my name was so fueled in all social media. Like I uploaded a video on YouTube and it did like 7 million first week because the next thing you upload when you have a banger is going to do better because the algorithm. I don't know fundamentally what it is, but so when that happened, I was like, all right, like I'm going to do it my way. But I fucked up and I didn't spend a single penny on marketing that album, where that album could have been ginormous if I spent $100,000-$200,000.
What do you spend the marketing on?
Just like getting creators to make content, doing this, just like developing out the story as well. So like if I had a $200,000 budget, I'd probably spend like $20,000 on like third-party marketing teams to get like real big blog editorial posting so it feels real. So you can just use that content. You can get like a magazine post and be like, yeah, I'm on a front cover of a magazine, even if the magazine doesn't do anything. So it signals to the fan, you're like, oh, I'm cool. I'm real. And then I would, if a song goes crazy, you run it to radio. So radio is a completely tertiary, basically dying format. But if you have a song on like pop radio and it's going crazy, you're making $1 million a week. Like you're making a shit ton of money from the publishing side. So that's only if a song goes crazy. And then really like I would send the rest on a bunch of really epic music videos, like developing out the story of the album, the likeness of the album, the creative endeavors and just putting more money into that so people can dive deeper into it. And then really 70-60% of the marketing budget, just drop it on like Instagram reels or people making TikTok posts.
Yeah.
And like when you see a little smoke come up, that's the thing. You got to be really, really opportunistic in music. And when you see a little smoke bubbling or like a bubble, you're like, oh, we got to spend. Because you might miss it in a millisecond.
So how do you recommend someone who wants to get into the music industry to start? Let's just say they're making their own music. They are, in their parents' bedroom just getting started. How do they blow up?
Well, so this guy named David. I don't know if you know David.
In the closet.
Yeah, in the closet.
Yeah.
So this guy, I think his song's like 1.5 billion now. He made a song like on his fucking iPhone. And it's ginormous, like triple, quadruple platinum. The homie was like making music in the Fortnite closet, like legit. He was a Fortnite streamer, and it was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make music. Made one of the biggest songs of like 2022, 2023, I don't know when it was, on his iPhone. You can just put music out. You never know what's gonna hit. And yeah, his whole life changed. Like SZA brought him on tour, and just like that.
And he's young.
He's super, I think he's like 18 still.
Yeah, like when that song came out, I think he was like 16 or something like that.
Yeah, and there's like, he uploads like photos of him and his, I think, little sister or little brother, and they're just like making new song. And I think the brother's like, or little sister, I don't really know, it was like 7. Like,
Wow.
And
So
it's just like, dude, what? Like,
so
what?
how does he get traction to that? Is it just posting it on YouTube? Did he use his
I think
audience?
TikTok. The TikTok is really what blew up.
Yeah.
I don't know if he used his audience. I have no idea. Like, there's a void in there. But the thing is like when you upload a song and you're just being yourself on social media, it will hypothetically resonate. Something that you said, you're like, are people making music for like TikTok moments? I think if you just try to make a good song, it might go on TikTok, it might not. But even if it doesn't go on TikTok, if it's a good song, people are going to listen to it. That's it.
Like, how have you been so strategic in marketing yourself? I feel like there are very few artists that go on as many podcasts as you go on, that are so active on social media, that like, I mean, you collaborate with a bunch of like YouTubers and stuff like that. And as I'm scrolling reels, like I'll see you all the time. Like, were you strategic in that area, or is that kind of just you taking every opportunity?
It's kind of like me taking every opportunity. But I also like have kind of branded myself to just be low effort, and it works sometimes. Sometimes it definitely does not work, and it really misses. TikTok is fucked as well. But I feel like a lot of the time it's just like the lower the effort, the better the results.
I just see a lot of like the really popular artists as well, like Kendrick Lamar or Drake or Daniel C's or Rex Orange County. Like they're just completely gone. They're recluses. Like they don't go on social media. They don't go on podcasts. They don't do anything. And then they just show up every once in a while with an album.
Yeah, I mean, there are different types of artists. I think I kind of live in a space where I'm a little bit new aged. And I have to promote my music for it to be heard, kind of thing. I also could just literally put a song out and just not touch it. I could totally do that. But I like the challenge. I like thinking about it and being like, you know what? I would love for this song to be huge because it means a lot to me or something like that. Sometimes it gets incredibly frustrating and like there's too many people speaking and I'll just like be like, what the fuck? But most of the time it's very rewarding when it works. And you know, it's like, what's the point of doing something if you're not going to do it to the best of your ability? I think that comes across as like something that is very like a heart point of my brand. And it's a very accessible for people to be like, oh, he's just a literal idiot on social media that like kind of makes good music. It's cool. So that's my take on it, I guess.
It's interesting when you mentioned that you were bigger in China, of all markets. I heard you say that recently.
China, dude, it's so ridiculous. China, I was in university and I got a DM. It was like right during like midterms week. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this music shit anymore. It's really not working. Like I was genuinely going to give up. And I was also doing a copious amount of Adderall because I'm not an academic. I wouldn't recommend it, guys. So I got a DM from this girl, didn't follow anybody but me on Twitter, and was like, hey, you're famous in China. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, what do you mean? She's like, nah, I'm being serious. I'm like, huh? And I had a foreign exchange student in my class, and I was like, yo, like, do you know this like app called NetEase and like Wang Yi and like 163 Music? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you know what this means? And I was asking him like what all the analytics were, and he's like, wait, this is your song? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, dude, this song's huge. I'm like, really? And then we just like became friends after that, and he like helped me get WeChat, helped me get Weibo and a bunch of the social medias. And then there's this dude named Luce out in Shanghai, and I was like, I made a fan group on WeChat, and so many fans poured in. They were like, my phone was like buzzing off the wazoo, and I was like, holy shit. I remember just sitting there with my roommate, Kyle and Daniel, and we were just like, dude, what the fuck is going on with my phone? Like, I couldn't use it because it was like, and I texted this guy Luce. I was like, what's up? Like, everyone's telling me to hit you up. He's like, cool, let's do a tour. And I was like, really? And homie scammed my ass so hard. Like, we sold out 6 capacities, all like 900 plus. And I went from doing midterms, not selling, literally doing a show in like Victoria, BC with like one singular person, like one person, to doing 900 capacity sold out shows, like drunk off my ass, being like, fuck it, let's party. And like, didn't even know my DJ, didn't even know the DJ. Like, we were just winging it so hard. And at that point, he gave me like $2,000 for all these shows. And I think he probably pocketed like $100,000. But at that time, I was busting tables, and I was like, all right, this is sick. And I'm like, I'm making more money I would have made than busting tables playing my own music in China. I'm going. And I went, and it was like the greatest experience of my life. Like, it was life-changing for sure. Like, people had tattoos of me out there. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I remember the first show, I turned around, I looked at Dan, my DJ, and I was like, bro, what the fuck is going on? And people were like, wow. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? So that was like the first like, whoa moment. And then everything after that kind of just became normalized, because I was like, if my music can be so impactful in China, like, it has to be able to be impactful out here. And I was just like, I got to keep trying. And then my homie Young Gravy blew up, and then it was just like, I just kept trying. I stopped partying, started waking up at like 4 a.m, started drinking coffee, and just started really giving it my all. So
what song was that?
It was a song called Yo Yo Tokyo, which I only had out in North America for like not long, like very short. It was like a week. And then I don't know the inception of how. So basically what happened was this guy, 16th birthday, Jackson Yee, he danced to one of my songs in a 2-song choreographed like setup. And it was just one of my songs. So I have no idea who recommended it. I have no idea if my music was popular out there prior. But soon as he danced, I went immediately viral. That was basically it.
Although really quick, before we go into that, even if you think it's a bit overhyped, AI is suddenly everywhere, from self-driving cars, molecular medicine, to business efficiency. If it's not in your industry yet, it's coming fast.
But of course, the problem is that AI requires a ton of speed and computing power, so how can you compete without costs spiraling out of control?
That's why it's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or our sponsor, OCI.
OCI is a blazing fast and secure platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, plus all of your AI and machine learning workloads.
OCI costs 50% less for compute and 80% less for networking, so you're saving a ton of money. Not to mention, thousands of businesses have already upgraded to OCI, including MGM Resorts, Specialized Bikes, and Fireworks AI. And right now, Oracle is offering to cut your current cloud bill in half when you move to OCI. This is for new US customers with minimum financial commitment, and the offer ends December 31st, 2024. So see if your company qualifies for this special offer at oracle.com/iced. Again, that's oracle.com/iced with the link down below in the description. Thank you so much, Oracle, for sponsoring this podcast. And now let's get back to the episode.
How was it performing in front of that amount, like 900 people, after previously only performing in front of just like 1 or 10?
Dude, I got water on the CDJs, and I had to do push-ups for like 30 minutes. It was a joke. I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Was it freaky for you?
It was like, this is funny. You know, like, it was like, this is so not what it should be, but I'll take it. So it was kind of like a really, really eye-opening experience that I was like, oh, maybe I do have the ability to do something like this. And I think it really gave me the driving factor of being like, I have to do this. Like, something is telling me. I think once I saw some dude, no bullshit, have BBNo Money tattooed on his neck, I was like, okay, you fucked up. Like, so hard.
Did you tell him that he made a mistake?
I think so.
Okay.
But I was just, at that point, I was like, I got to do this like religiously, like at least for him, so he doesn't make a goddamn terrible ass mistake. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting experience that I don't know I would love to re-feel that again, because it was so like unexpected, but at the same time I was making music and I was like, I really hope this would happen. And then I think the second time I ever felt something similar was when I had Lalala. I was like, about time. Like, it took me 2.5 years later, after I blew up in China. It took me 2.5 years later to have Lalala in North America, and that was like my first big stamp of approval in America and in North America, like rest of the world. And at that moment, I was like, okay, I made it. Like, I for sure made it.
How much do you make and then scrap and just don't post?
Well, when you dipped out for a minute, I was like, I basically make like 100 songs and I'll put out like 7.
Whoa.
Yeah, I scrap a lot. It kind of sucks because like I used to be way more down to just put everything out, but then I realized being more intentional and like actually putting out exclusively bangers, people will be like, "Oh, I know he's putting out a hitter," so I'm gonna go back and make sure I listen to it for the first time.
But how do you know that those songs don't really hit with an audience? Wouldn't it be better to have like an in-person test group of like 20 people, 20 big fans, play the music and just have them rate it? And if they like the song, maybe you test another group?
I mean, like, yeah, there's testing groups and stuff, but you never know. Like, you literally never know. I mean, I remember my videographer, I sent him all and I was like, yo, we should shoot a banger to this one. This one's gonna be it. I promise you. And he's like, I don't like this song at all. He's like, I don't even want to shoot it. I'm like, okay, don't worry about it. Didn't shoot the music video. And then we shot the music video because it blew up. We had to make a music video. It has like 700 million plays on YouTube. And I'm like, bro, you fucked up. That would have been like the biggest game-changing asset for your like directing career, for sure, ever. But I mean, that's just the nature of things. That's how it goes.
I know for us and just for myself, there are some videos that I put so much time and effort into that I love the video and I post it, just terrible.
Yeah.
Other videos I'll make on a whim and they do really well, even though I think it's not the best video. It's just for whatever reason it does well.
So I did this video with this TikToker guy, content creator guy named Justin Yee, and it's like super sick. It was for the song called 2, the one I was talking about, the music video, and he did like a very DIY setup, like made paintings, did this. And I honestly, when I watched the video, I'm like, this is so sick. Like, it's really cool. But it just like doesn't do well on an algorithm. And it just makes no fucking sense. Anyone would look at this video and be like, yo, this is so sick. Like, great job. This is really cool. And it's like the formatting or like the file type or the video type, the video quality type will hinder the video. And it's just like, it's kind of interesting because it puts a weird perspective on content creators' minds that is like, I have to kind of fit into this pole or this line of how I make music and how I deliver it, or how I make content and how I deliver it. And I think it's kind of like washed a little bit of people's full-blown creativity. And I think it's like reducing the standard of quality across the board. And I think people are just getting more and more okay with just like mid-tier everything. So
walk me through grinding for years and then having the song La 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 that blows up. What are the next few days like? What is your phone like? Is it just constant, just iMessage barrage? Did you get any DMs from people you idolized?
Oh yeah, I remember I remember like the last day. Okay, so basically Y2K was going to get this record deal. And when he was getting this record deal, he was like, we can't let this song drop. We let the song drop on streaming, we're fucked. Basically, what'll happen is he might lose his deal. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna work my ass off. So I worked like 14 hours of just like sending out people memes to post about the song, basically. And then what happens at this moment? I call my ex and I'm like, I have a hit, basically. And I call my manager and I'm like, dude, we got to get this song to go up. We're fucked. The next morning, it goes up. I fly. I take a red eye to New York. We sign it just like that. And I just remember like right after I signed it, we went for beers and I was just like, damn, about time. It felt like I was like, about fucking time. I've been working my goddamn ass off for like 5 years in North America and I had no recognition really. And I was like, for the first time ever, I felt like it just made sense. And it was cool because I think it was very validating that I knew that song was going to be a hit. And I was just like so convinced. I was just like, fuck it. I got to make this song a hit. And it was a hit. And then like all the other songs I put out, like 2 before and 2 after, they all did great. and it was just kind of like a springboard effect that like took me up a lot. And yeah, it's been a really interesting experience. There's highs and lows, peaks and like lows and whatnot, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Sometimes it's really annoying that I have to make content all the time, but
what's the worst low?
sometimes I do too many shows and I like burn myself out really hard. Burnout is so real being a touring act. I think like just not having regularity in your schedule really is tiresome. Yeah, I think I've been to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm so past burnt out. I'm just so in burnout that I don't even recognize it sometimes, and then it just like gets like double down, and then I'm just like cooked. I just sometimes like sit there and I'm like, and I like want to do things, but I just can't. I'm at capacity, and I also think I have ADHD and a bunch of like a slew of other things. But I think that's probably the lowest it's been was recently.
How do you date as a musician? Is that something that's like easy? Is it difficult? Are there different challenges that come along with that?
It's pretty cooked, I'll be honest. I remember this guy, David. I just bought my apartment and we just had Lalala, and it was like October, I don't know, 10th. And we're walking back into my fucking apartment. I remember this vividly. And he's like, yo, you know, dating for you is fucked for the rest of your life. And I'm like, God damn it. I'm fucking stupid. And it's true. It's a little difficult for sure. That's the one pillar in my life that I don't really have fulfilled. And that's the one pillar in my life that I've always wanted. I just wanted like some normalcy with like love and affection and feelings and whatnot. But I mean, hey, I wouldn't be in the position I was in if I was dramatically in love, I think. And I also wouldn't switch it for anything. So
what makes it so difficult? You think it would be like really easy, no? Like what's the hardest part about it?
Maintaining a relationship. I am a serial monogamous.
Yeah.
And I believe out of a place of trust and love, and I want to build a family basically.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, I can go and get laid. What's that going to do for me? It doesn't make me happy. I don't want that.
But it seems like it'd be easy to find a relationship too.
Yeah,
like easier.
There's all at least historically in the past for me, there's been like these weird dynamics where I just don't like it. I want a dynamic that we're both growing together rather than like swapping back and forth, like the power struggle kind of thing. And interestingly enough, like I go on tour, I'm the one that's insecure. So I have a bunch of shit I got to figure out myself because I kind of neglected all of my emotional well-being for like 8 years to do all this music shit. And I feel like I'm kind of like lightly emotionally stinted, but I'm working on it now. So,
yeah.
But at the same time,
what are you insecure about if you're on a tour? Is it like the time difference and not spending time with someone?
I don't really know. Sometimes I don't even know what I need in a relationship. But I'm gathering recently that I haven't yet met a person that wants to take a relationship as serious as I do. And I want to find a connection that I really like love and find fulfilling. And I think a lot of the time, sometimes we view connections as like a potential dynamic where it's like probably not healthy, or we're like, oh, this is fun, this is great. But I have yet to meet someone that kind of checks all the boxes and actually wants. I've met people that have checked boxes and don't want a relationship or a committed relationship, but I've yet to meet anyone that wants a committed relationship and has checked all the boxes. Obviously, yeah, God fucking bless. If I meet someone that's perfect, that's perfect. There's someone out there for me for sure. I'm not too worried. And one of these days they will come around for sure. It's just like, it would be doper sooner than later kind of thing.
This is completely like a 180, but I have a question about your hair. Your hairline is immaculate. Do you take any sort of thing for your hairline? And on top of that, like the beard, it's the perfect beard. I am so hairy. I have a lot of hair, but it doesn't grow in perfectly like your beard and mustache do. I don't know.
You're really going strong with the compliments.
Look, I know you're single. Hey, I'm single too.
Single.
We can figure something out here.
Shit, man.
No, I'm just trying to understand. There's like, do you like derma roll, or is there like a?
Are you guys gonna co-parent?
Is there
like
a strategy? I want to be a dad.
I do literally nothing to my like nothing.
It's the worst thing you could have told.
Well, obviously, like I shaved a bit today. Like I got to clean it up a little bit. But for hair, I don't use shampoo or conditioner or nothing. I just let it go greasy and just let it grow out.
So I actually did that for like 2 or so months because I heard dandruff is generated from drying your hair out,
your scalp, yeah.
and then it like starts accumulating, and then you dry it out again to fix the dandruff, which does it, but temporarily, and then it starts accumulating again. But if you get past that crux, then over time you won't have the dandruff. Is that what you experienced? Is that actually true?
I don't really deal with dandruff. I just like I remember I was in high school. My brother was getting all like hipstery, and he was like, "Yeah, don't wash your hair, bro." And I just stopped washing my hair.
What the smell?
Doesn't smell bad. It starts naturally cleaning itself. Legit. Smell it if you want. Get over here, man.
All right. Yeah, you can lean over the table.
Yeah.
Doesn't smell bad. That's a good musk.
Yeah.
It's not even like
Elon's
it's
musk.
It's not that it smells like nothing, but it's a musk, like a good musk.
Yeah. Very manly.
Anyways, we gotta change the course of this conversation because I'm outing myself.
please,
Guys, I'm
please,
straight.
Jack.
There have been questions. People think that Graham and I are like dating. That's not the case.
That's dope.
Okay, I have a question about private venues. Justin Bieber was paid $10 million. They're not. It might be confirmed. I don't know, but it's been widely reported that he was paid $10 million to perform at a pre-wedding celebration for a super wealthy, like billionaire family, one of the wealthiest people in Asia. Have you ever been offered like a private venue thing, or is that like something that happens? I'm so curious because $10 million to perform at
for
one
probably
thing.
like
I
30
mean,
minutes.
Ridiculous.
It's Justin Bieber. And also, no, like Justin Bieber. Have you seen Justin Bieber live? Either of you guys?
No.
Incredible. Like, I always was like, oh, it's Justin Bieber. Cringe. I saw him live and I was like, oh. Like, he's perfectly in key. Like, every word he says is perfect. It's perfect. Like, I always was just like, you know what? Like, all these girls like Justin Bieber, whatever. He's probably just cute, but he's so unbelievably professional. It's nuts. Have I done like a super private event? I've definitely done private events, but not to that extent, obviously. Like, if I was making $10 million for a private event, black cards would be on me for sure. I've definitely done private events. I mean, they typically do pay better, but they suck.
It's not as fun.
Well, yeah, definitely not.
Because no one's like singing your music.
No one's like
alongside.
actually there for you. You're just like that is like the wife's dream, and he's like, all right, I got you. Like, I love you. Here's $10 million. But I mean, I would have loved to go to that wedding. It sounds like a fucking blast.
I think it lasted over like several days too, that wedding.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, $10 million, man.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's so interesting that he would still do that shit for $10 million.
10 million. I mean,
it's a lot of money, but
private jet, like, and they'll make it so easy on him. I think he just showed up, performed, and then left. So it's like maybe 24 hours, maybe 30 hours for $10 million.
Yeah, apparently he left right afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure some of it was posted on TikTok, not the concert itself, but like his wedding, and I believe it lasted like a week.
That's so
It was
far.
like a week long.
And when I get married, I'm 2 weeks.
Yeah, all the groomsmen got AP watches, but like this, I think it was like the skeleton AP. Yeah, because they posted a photo of like all the APs together, like in a circle.
So
like,
you really know all the lore.
Damn, we fucking suck. We should have been at the wedding.
We need an invitation. I would love an AP.
Yeah.
What about features? Is there a lot of money in features? Have
Like
you ever been
doing features?
doing features? Yeah, or like, do you pay other people to come on your? How's that economy work?
Typically, I really like just doing a song where it's like I meet them, and I'm like, I actually vibe with them, and then I'll send them a song and they'll do it or something. I did this song with the Young Bay ages ago. We ended up getting Wiz Khalifa. Yeah, Wiz Khalifa. I got Wiz Khalifa on it, and wow, how did I?
Yeah,
I was about to say,
I was
I'm
like,
like,
Wiz what? I'm like
Khalifa.
Yeah,
it
and
must not be Khalifa.
Dude, my brain just turned off. This is
You need
sponsored
more
by
new
Nutron. So we ended up getting him on it. It was like 50 grand, but like I had no communication with it. This wasn't my song. They like uploaded it. They did everything. And yeah, he kind of made the song a little cooler, but it didn't really do anything.
50 grand to get Wiz Khalifa on a song.
Yeah, but this was like 4 years ago when he was a lot more popping.
Interesting.
Because I think he probably had a couple kids and now he's chilling.
Who's somebody that you would love to collaborate with on a song?
I've always said like Pharrell Williams or
Yeah.
like Timbaland, Missy Elliott. Just
Missy Elliott.
Just like the
Wow.
legends. Yeah, that'd be
That would be
really, really
cool.
sick. But as far as more contemporary, there's this girl named Leve.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I love her
Yeah.
music. Like, I don't think we would make a song that makes any sense, really. Maybe. But there's something that her music has that is eons better than everyone else's. It's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's so pretty and like charismatic, and also like the visual imagery comes across perfect in her music. Like, you can listen to a song, you can just like see it in form of a Disney movie. It's weird.
No, she's awesome.
Yeah,
that would be
she's great.
that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really curious where you invest your own money. Like, do you save it? Do you invest it somewhere? Like, what's the plan?
I have a saving principle of like at least minimally 70%. But that has been since day one. I started working at my dad's store like super early on. So I've been saving about 70% minimum. But honestly, it equates to about like after my net, probably like 80-90%. I don't spend any of my fucking money. And then I just honestly I could be doing a lot better financially. I have like probably 5 or 10% in like kind of high risk or like risk.
What do you call that?
Like individual stocks and crypto.
Yeah, stuff like that. During the crypto pump in like 2021, I ended up doing pretty decent, and then I poured it all into Bitcoin. So I have like 5 coins.
Oh,
good.
It's pretty dope. And then I have like probably like 80%, 85% locked away in just like high interest.
Oh, like
High
savings
interest?
accounts?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not
What about
investing?
index funds?
No, I just don't do that.
Why?
My dad and we just have this principle where it's like safety. Just full-blown safe.
That might be a little too safe because you're losing some purchasing power to inflation, and the
I know.
downside, you're getting taxed at your normal tax rate.
Mhm.
Just keeping
At
it
the
in a savings
5%
account.
that you're getting
That's
in
like the
savings.
least optimal thing that you could do.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than just a
Well,
non-high.
It's better than
you know what I mean?
nothing.
Totally. I don't disagree with any of you guys, but I also like I don't like looking at my money that much. So my dad is he kind of just does it for me.
Mhm.
And I'm like happy that he has like a portion in my business.
You might want to look into a financial advisor or something.
I do have a financial advisor, but
do
that
you
is
not
like
listen to him.
he like only does like crypto shit.
Okay,
That's not a financial
that is
advisor.
not
I don't know.
I honestly
That's like your friend's neighbor's like older brother.
Financial. He only,
Okay.
only
to be
deals in
real,
crypto.
to be real, I feel like if I spend more time on my music in my business,
I understand.
Well, yeah,
but
there's the
like-
highest ROI in that.
Yeah,
but
the highest
still,
ROI.
yeah, but I'm just saying, when you start getting into 7 figures, the amount that you're like just for perspective on this, the market is up like 25% this year. 25%.
That's a
So
lot of
for
So if you
every
had like
$1
$3
million,
million, or $4 million,
that's
you have $1 million.
That's $250, $1,000 per million that you've missed out on theoretically this year that you would not be taxed on until you sold. So there's a lot that's going on there
okay.
that you really should pay attention to, because it just, if we have another 20% year at some point in the future, at 5 million, that's $1 million.
Well, you're aware of
Tax-free.
index
It's like-
funds. You know what an index fund is.
Like I kind of just haven't really spent too much brain power on that, and I probably should.
You don't need to spend any brain power. I'm talking just get a fee-only financial advisor. You pay them by the hour, and you just say, tell me what to do, or just invest what you recommend on my behalf. It'll take you probably under an hour. Like and the hour
like
work is like finding someone to
that
kinda,
1
like,
hour
guide
will make
through.
you, I'm guessing, probably millions of dollars over the course of a few years.
Easily millions of dollars for 1 hour of your time. It's because we have a lot of people
That
on.
is your Justin
Yeah.
Bieber private venue
is.
thing right there.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of people on who
Yeah,
who
I mean,
are in the same spot as
honestly,
you.
I've been meaning to have a long discussion with my dad because I just feel like fundamentally we're not doing enough with the money. You guys are heard.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, I mean, just let us know.
Yeah.
But we could try to point you in the right direction for like, someone to talk to on this, like a professional, but it's very easy. It's very simple. And as long as you're not planning to spend it in the next like 10, 15 years, you'll be able to ride out any sort of like fluctuation in the market. There's a chance you lose money over the next like 10 years.
Yeah.
Long term, it's highly unlikely. Like the risk reward is like this amount of risk for like that much reward. It's worth it.
And
Yeah.
I like, if you don't like looking at it, I like an auto invest feature. So every week it just pulls out of my savings and just puts it in there. And it could even be for you like a very negligible amount of money, just so you can see it over the course of even like a year and be like, I like this. I like how it's working. Even if at the end of a year it's like 20 grand,
Yeah. Honestly, I do have to do a little bit more diligence with that regard because I feel like a lot of the time I kind of just turn a blind eye and just my dad is really happy doing what he's doing, and I like to include him because that's just the most important thing. And he's the most risk adverse person I've ever met in my life, and I kind of like don't mind it.
We're doing a great job saving that amount of money and putting it in a high yield savings account. Like that is objectively, it's a
way
good job.
worse. You could be way worse.
I could be just not doing anything with it,
or you could be spending all the money.
Yeah, and I don't spend anything. We have all of it locked away, kind of thing. But I mean, I could take it out and play with it more. But I need to slow down my business like mind, and then I can start working on that for sure.
Get someone else too, because I hope that your mind doesn't slow down anytime soon, because you could continue to utilize that.
Yeah,
where you're at now, you could be 10 times over the next like 5 years, but at the same time,
that's
be
crazy to even
some
think
good,
about.
like, you know,
5 years, 10 times. That's nuts. I don't even want that. But
whatever you want.
Yeah,
I mean,
I appreciate.
The best thing is you're not wasting your money. That's literally the best.
It upsets me when people aren't optimizing.
Yeah, dude, I definitely need to optimize a little bit for sure.
Cool.
But my financial advisor dude, or like the guy who like
He's
invests.
not a financial advisor.
We got it. No bullshit texting me. He's like, "Hey, yo, should we invest in Skibbity Toilet?" He's like, the movie's about to drop. And I was like, oh my fucking God, bro. Like, I woke up and that was like one of the first texts I saw, like 6 a.m. I was like, what the fuck?
And you're like, yes.
Skibbity Toilet, come on.
Who is this guy? You don't have to say a name.
His name's John.
Has he gotten you good returns?
No, yeah, he's got me huge plays. Like, he'll be like, yo, give me $15K. And he flips it to like 100 something.
Dude, it sounds like a pump and dump group. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's.
But it's at like an actual firm.
Do they say like
firm?
Do they?
Yeah.
No, it's not a firm.
There's no way.
Is it firm?
There's no way.
Do they say, "Oh, baby, no money bought this"?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
it's definitely not. It's definitely not pumping and dumping.
Okay,
is he on Twitter?
I mean, he's definitely kind of on Twitter. But I mean,
dude. I mean, if he's making you money, you know.
Yeah.
Keep the amounts that you're sending him fairly low.
Red flags, like 15 grand.
Okay, well, look, let's talk off the books. Let's talk off the books because
I'll give you.
Boys got to make more money.
No, for sure.
You got to change your name to Baby Got Money.
Baby has money.
Has money.
Yeah.
No money. Yes money. Baby, yes. I don't know.
Well, boys, that was great.
Cool.
Thanks
for the conversation.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll link to a bunch of stuff down below in the description, including our new song that's coming out. So
gotta think of a music video. Yeah.
Do you want to shout out anything? Like you have tours coming up or
end of November. I might have a new song out. If I do have a new song out, go listen to it. If I don't, go buy a ticket, come to my shows. It's probably sold out at that time. Love your parents and your family.
Amazing. Thank you guys for watching.
Until next time.